the Everything But Politics podcast.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to this 187th edition of the Everything But Politics podcast. With us today is our new friend, the founder of Amryth, Logan Milano. Logan, great to meet you. Great to have you on our show, brother.
Welcome.
Appreciate you guys bringing me on. How we doing?
We're doing better now. It's good to have you with us. Like I said before we hit play, very aligned with what you're building and creating. So I guess let's start with that. What is Amryth?
So Amryth, right here, is the first ever Mad Honey drink. So Mad Honey is this rare honey that comes from the Himalayan mountains. I also have a bunch of that around me, but
That's some good looking stuff.
Oh yeah, it's straight from villages in Nepal where it's harvested on the cliff sides of the Himalayan mountains, and it's known for a euphoric and medicinal benefit, and it has a lot of crazy stories of people going there. I don't know if you guys saw someone on Joe Rogan went there and like had crazy experiences eating way too much of it. The thing about it is it can be very powerful, but the issue with it is there's inconsistency in dosing. It comes from varying hives, and it really gets its potency from the nectar of a species of rhododendron flower in the area. So based on how much of that nectar bees have ate determines the potency. So you have one honeycomb that you harvest where it's pretty chill, and the other one where you're super wasted. And, you know, if that was comparing that to alcohol, where you're eating a spoon of like pure moonshine that tastes like honey, you're going to have a crazy time with alcohol and think it's insane. So we started, we homogenized across all these harvests and then lab test it to get a consistent effect, bring that to the US in the form of a drink with a measured amount and guidelines and, you know, how much you should drink to get the targeted effect, to bring the standardization that it really needs and a consistent effect. So far, since launch, it's been a lot of really great feedback with people having really good experiences, nobody having these crazy experiences that you can have. And I mean, some people will try because they'll drink a ton of it, but based on our guidelines, it's been very safe to consume and really great reception so far.
Wow.
So give us a little more background on yourself. Wait, before that, when was Amryth founded? What year?
Well, I've been working on this for a while now. We didn't launch until about a month and a half ago, but I'd say probably like 2 years now that I've been working on this.
And okay, so you went to ASU. I went to U of A. So very familiar
Sick.
with your neck of the woods. Spent a lot of time in Scottsdale. And so you're there now. Are you a graduate of ASU or you're still in school?
I have 1 month left, so I'm almost out.
All right. So you 22 or 3? How old are you?
23.
Okay. So you taking even a further step back, how did you even become introduced to this world? Because this is not, when I was 20 or 21, I was not thinking about, you know, this kind of potent honey, starting a drink, anything of that, of what you've tapped into or dove into. So walk us through the introduction.
Yeah, so I started out actually going after finance pretty heavy. I was a big finance bro. I wanted to work in banking, private equity, and found out from ASU was pretty hard to do. So I was just spending all my time trying to do extracurriculars, internships at like private equity firms, and it was hard to get in that. So I was just researching a bunch of stuff online, reaching out to anyone that would speak to me in the industry. And eventually I got on this project where we were consulting for this alcohol conglomerate called Diageo. They own a bunch of this like liquor companies you've heard of and beers and stuff. And I realized alcohol sales were going down, and it was driven by this boom in the wellness industry. And it was not it wasn't just like a one-time thing. It looked like the beginning of a bigger trend. So I started looking at alternatives to alcohol as something they could hedge their bets on. And after looking into that, I just kept going further. And I come from Sacramento, California, where Kava bars were a really big thing, if you've heard of Kava before.
Yeah, I've tried Kava. That's a unique feeling.
Yeah, totally. So it was super popular in my hometown, and I thought I should open a Kava bar at ASU and it'll be a big hit. And I started just trying to grind that. And nobody would zone to me because I was a student, and no one knew what Kava was. And I was trying that for a while, just really bent on doing it until I met somebody that had a canned drink. And I thought it costed like $250,000 to start something like that. I didn't know any kid that was doing that. And this guy said it was pretty easy. So I was like, you know what? I should start a Kava drink. That would be insane. And I could scale that so much faster than having a physical location. And I started meeting with food scientists the same way I was trying to reach out to anyone in finance. I was just hitting up anybody in food science because I wanted to learn more about trying to formulate my own drink. And eventually I started meeting with food scientists. They're telling me Kava is not a good idea because a lot of issues they've had with it. They've been burnt on it and things like that. But I kept sticking with it, but I started looking at other ingredients as well. And I just started testing things out, honestly. I was brewing it out of my basement. I would have a bunch of friends come over and like I would make them my drinks. And people were kind of like, oh, this is good, Logan, but no one really wanted, like, no one was like asking me for more drinks. It was kind of like being nice to me type of thing
Got it.
until I tried using Mad Honey. And that time, I remember it the next day, everybody was asking me if they could have more. People were reaching out to me saying they got my number from someone and wanted to know if they could try it too. And I was shocked, honestly, because I was like, no one ever really cared about my drinks at this point. Now I have people like asking me if, them and their friends can try it and things like that. It was pretty insane. So I just kind of leaned into it from there.
How did you learn about Mad Honey?
I was gonna ask that.
Okay, so I heard about it from like Vice and just these documentaries online. And I
Got it.
thought it was insane how it comes from the Himalayan mountains and like the story behind it. So, um, yeah, I wanted to try that out and see if that would give a interesting feeling as well.
It-
Because the same type of thing where it's pretty strong in high doses, but I felt like in controlled ones, it could give just the effect people want because there's a lot of good stories about it too.
Mm.
And how long after hearing about it did you first try Mad Honey?
Well, I tried first the stuff online, which a
Right.
lot of that's fake. Some of it works, but you have to buy ridiculous amounts of it for it to feel like anything.
But just a quick
So
side note, is that like the fake side honey? Is that kind of equivalent to Delta 8 to THC? Same concept?
it would be kind of different because Delta 8
Okay.
THC is like a certain part of it that like isn't wasn't as like prohibited by the government and a way to get around it kind of synthetically. What they're doing online isn't as far as I know of. Well, actually some like smoke shops they will sell synthetic versions where they put 7-HO in it and they'll put, cannabis, things like that in this honey. Some people even put psilocybe in it, which is like a, what is it? I don't know if it's psilocybe or something else. Some pro drug for psilocybin now, or like magic mushrooms. People call it shrooms, but
That'll be put as the alternate to Mad Honey, you're saying?
I think in a lot of physical locations I've seen people do that, but online it's harder to get away with that on like a large scale. People do it, but most of the stuff you're gonna see when you Google Mad Honey is stuff that's just been cut a ton.
Got it.
So
With like regular honey or diluted and not preserved properly, where the potency goes away. And you're paying like $100 for a jar that doesn't really do anything. And it like, yeah, so some of it you could feel the effect, but I'd have to use like 45 grams of this honey per drink just to feel like,
45
some of the
grams?
effect.
That's a
Yeah, of the
lot.
honey. Yeah, that's a
Okay.
lot. So it was really expensive. It was costing like, even at wholesale, it was gonna be like $5 per drink just
Wow.
with honey. No, not like for the price, just in honey, $5 per drink. So it would have
So
been
your
super
first
expensive after everything else.
your first time trying real Mad Honey, what was the experience like? And how did it make you feel? And how did that feeling make you want to start Amryth?
Yeah. Honestly, it was kind of like alcohol, but not as you get like the body feeling from alcohol, but
Mhm.
mentally you just feel a little bit more focused. It was just like a mix of a couple different things. And I thought it was really interesting and I enjoyed it a lot. Felt like if I can, yeah, get a lot of people to try this, I feel like they would be really interested as well. And that's, pretty much what happened.
Appropriately named El Corazon, the heart, is a culmination of strenuous labor and enduring passion for exceptional coffee. Not just any coffee, Brickhouse coffee.
Mm.
This organic gem embodies the very essence of Brickhouse coffee in many more ways than one. Each sip reveals the culture and authenticity of the farmer's personal touch. Nurtured through organic practices, lightly roasted, flavorful, and highly satisfying. Each certified organic bean is a gift from our Honduran brothers and sisters, and we're proud to extend this pure and heartfelt piece of our heart to you. Brickhouse Coffee, El Corazon. Get it now, link in description.
So how would you describe the feeling then when someone drinks Amryth? Like, is it like smoking weed? Is it like drinking alcohol? How many do you recommend someone drinks?
It's somewhere between cannabis and alcohol, but just in the body. So mentally, it's kind of like, well, like you don't get out of it like you would from cannabis. Like a lot of our customers describe it as a clean alcohol, is the feeling because the body feeling of alcohol, but you're clear headed. And um, yeah, that's what a lot of people have said about it. I
Very
see what you're
cool.
saying. It's hard to describe exactly because it's really its own feeling, but that's the closest like description.
It's cool.
In addition to Mad Honey being in it, what are the other ingredients in the drink?
So other than that honey, we put organic berry flavor just to give it kind of flavor to it. Green tea extract is the base of the drink, so
Mm.
not enough to give it like a ton of caffeine or anything. It's actually less caffeine in it than your average soda. Lavender and um checking the label. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And water.
So it's
So
very
Wow.
cool. It's very cool. So, something that we tried a little over a year ago, which I think is similar. You can tell me if I'm wrong or not. Is Breeze, Brez? You familiar
yeah,
with Breeze? How? What is
totally.
it? A similar concept?
So Breeze, I actually know the founder, Aaron. Breeze
Yep.
is
Yep.
microdose THC, and they also have nootropic mushrooms. Are you talking about the THC one or the nootropic one?
The nootropic one. We actually
So
had both. We tried it in South by last year. We met their team. They got a cool product. It's a cool. It's kind of expensive, but it's like an alcohol. It's more leaning towards the THC or alcoholic drink than it is a cup of coffee. But it's neither. But if you had to choose a lane, it's probably closer to that lane, in my opinion.
for the nootropics, you think?
Definitely for the THC. We actually had both the same day, so I guess
Well,
we got
THC
super
is like
special.
cannabis,
Yeah,
so that would make sense. But the nootropics should be, in my opinion, like closer to a coffee. But
I
that's
enjoyed it.
lion's mane, cordyceps, I think. I don't know exactly which nootropics they're using, but just generally based off what nootropics are. I actually am a big fan. I just feel like it's harder to feel it. It's like a supplement for me. I feel like I have to take it every single day and
Yeah.
a lot of it, and then after like a few weeks, I'll start to feel the benefits. It's like, like ashwagandha.
I know what it is. I've never consumed it.
Okay, well, I mean, in my opinion, it's like drinking a orange juice and feeling like getting like a major benefit from the vitamin C. It's like you're
Mm,
better off taking vitamin C consistently
got it.
Mhm.
is my take on most nootropic drinks. You know what I mean? It's a supplement in my
Now
opinion, but
now yeah, with Amryth,
supposedly
so
Aaron City they got like nanomulsified nootropics so it hits faster. So I'm not sure about
got it.
that, but that's yeah.
Now with Amryth, so, for you personally or those listening, they wanna have a can. Do Would it be more so the kinda drink, like, I wanna take it before I go lift weights, or I take it before I'm gonna drink it before I get into some deep work on my laptop?
Right, or before you go to a party.
Yeah, or before you go to a party? Like, what is, like, the
So
best way
I
to
take
consume?
it before I go out. Like I think if that's the main use case for it is for me, like if I'm about to go do something social, I want to be like energized. It makes me just kind of happy and like sociable, and I think it's cool to go drink it before I go out. But I have UGC creators that make like content for me about the
Yeah.
product, and they all started saying like this is like a new like gym thing. And I actually texted them. I'm like, why do you keep saying that? Like, this is not really for that, but they genuinely really liked it, they said, and they thought that's like another use case for it. I had girls that were drinking it before they go to Pilates. They said it actually gave them like a really good focus. The thing about like THC, for example, is people like to smoke weed before they go to the gym or do things like that because it gives them that relaxation. But for a lot of people, maybe too much like head effect where they're out of it
Yeah.
to do that in
Yeah.
those locations. But without the head effect, it sounds like these people really enjoyed it for those use cases. I mean, I'm drinking some right now. Like it's there's no hangover, so I can kind of be flexible with it where like, I could be drinking this and then have a work call come up and have no problem taking it. So
Like today's Friday. How many will you drink today?
we'll see. I
How many
don't
have you
drink
drank at this point?
typically. This is my first one, but
Okay.
typically I only drink one or two. I set the limit on how many you should drink in a day as 3, but yeah, that's kind of like where I recommend people cap it off at.
And what's the most you've ever drinking of them, and how does that make you feel having, like, more than the recommended dosage?
I had a bunch of the raw honey, which equaled
Okay.
like somewhere around 5 of these drinks, and that was what was the question? How does it make you feel compared
Yeah.
to?
Just having the average dosage.
I would just say a little bit more like out of it. It starts to get and um
Were you floating?
yeah, like kind of like that, like
Yeah.
more so like a little on the like the wasted side.
Got it.
So, Logan, talk to us about like the longer term plan on like the plan to get it into stores and how you want to grow this as you are about to graduate.
So I actually completely changed my go to market where I'm avoiding going into stores and I'm avoiding like in person events, which that was my whole plan initially. The
Okay.
reason I did this is I spoke to people that are way more successful than me, that are doing anywhere from like 8 figures a year to 9, 10 figures in revenue. And I found out all the people that are growing the fastest in the space, that are the smartest guys, completely avoided this for the first year and built out their direct consumer channels. So social media and getting a system down where you have people making content for you, you're making content, and it's all selling so that any person that sees that content gets like targeted with, your marketing and everything, like emails, stuff like
Yeah, yeah.
that. That's just a way more scalable process. It's much easier to build out a team for that. And the ROI is just so much bigger. Like, let's say I launched retail right now. I would have to go there and table every day. I would be doing pop-ups in the area, giving out a bunch of free product to be like, please buy my drink. Versus now I give out free product to content creators that make videos about it for commission on the sales they drive. And I make videos about the drink with my time instead of telling a bunch of people at like, a table. And pretty much there's no cap on how well my sales can go versus in a store. It's like best case scenario, you can take over an area. It's much slower progression than online.
Can
Oh,
I
yeah.
can I
Fair enough.
purchase Amryth on Amazon?
So we didn't do Amazon yet because so far I just did on my website, just drinkamryth.com.
Mhm.
And we sold out our first 10,000 cans we made
Yes.
pretty fast. So right now, actually next week, we have another 26,000 coming out. And then I'm working on my third production right now for a way bigger quantity. So that's when maybe on the third one, we'll start doing Amazon, but we haven't really needed to. Amazon's good because it gives you more marketing, more people that will just see it. But we've only activated really Instagram and Meta so far. So just off that, we were able to sell through in a little bit over a month. And now I'm activating TikTok Shop. So
There you go.
that's gonna do pretty well in sales as well. It's just kind of like slowly activating those channels. That's been the focus for now.
Well, it's a
But
great
Amazon in the
strategy.
future.
I think that the future of products and selling is on social media, that people aren't going to stores anymore. You don't need a storefront. All you need is properly run social media campaigns. And that's how I've actually found you guys. Like you popped up on my advertisements and something I want to talk about, which was the video I saw where I think you went to like the Himalayan mountains where you got the
Yeah.
mad honey. Talk through us what that was like, the journey to go and retrieve the honey. And I saw there were some foreigners you had to talk with. What was that experience like, and how did that even come to be?
Well, it became apparent that it wasn't going to work off the stuff online because, like I said, it's all overpriced and cut. And the stuff that, some of it that is real, it's like the amounts I would have to use to, you know, unit economics made no sense. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with this and everyone telling me buy my honey. I'm going to go straight to the source. I'm going to meet with these guys in the villages and get the best, most potent stuff there is. So I got a trip to Nepal and I brought with me a translator and a cameraman. It was like 40 hours to um to the like capital of Nepal.
Wait,
And
quickly speak on that journey. I would imagine you left from somewhere in San Francisco, Sacramento.
yeah, well, I was back home in Sacramento. That's my hometown. And
Yeah.
I wake up to a phone call from this guy that was helping me arrange the meetings with these guys in the villages that was going to translate for me. And he calls me at like really early, I mean, like 6 a.m. on like a Saturday morning. And he tells me, hey, you have to come now. Um, the harvest is happening now, and you need to get here ahead of the harvest in order to get these deals, they say. So you need to come today. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm cutting Thanksgiving short and I'm gonna go to Nepal. So, or no, not Thanksgiving. This was in like April of last year, honestly. So
Okay.
I
Fairly
forget why
recent.
I'm but no, this was like a year ago. And
Is that your first time in Asia?
yeah, so I hop on a bus to San Francisco. On that bus, I'm booking my flight to Nepal, and
Oh, you didn't even have a
I
flight booked when you're on your way. You're just like
no, I didn't
totally full
even
sending this
I get
thing.
this phone call, I need to go, and I'm like, "All right, let's do it." I get my bus tickets to San Francisco. On the
That's
bus, I'm
badass.
booking my flight to Nepal, and then I'm going through my Instagram DMs. I had someone that told me they would work for me for free. I'm like, "Yo, you wanna come film for me in Nepal?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely. When?" I go, "Today." Like, "Could you do that?" And he goes, "Well, fuck, like, let me call my mom." And he gets back to me, like, 30 minutes later, he's like, "Yo, I'm in, I'm in." So, I book him a flight too, and, I get to the airport, and then it was, yeah, like a 40-hour trip. Stopped in, like, the UAE, which was kinda sick.
Wait, you would
First
go
time
to
in
San Francisco to UAE, so you go west over the Pacific Ocean, correct? Or you go east
Yeah,
toward Atlantic? You go
yeah, I think it
west
was,
towards
like
UAE. So
I think it was
that's
the
out of the
Kuwait
way.
airport or something. It was a really cool airport. I forget
But
which one it was, but it was sick.
so you had to go west because Nepal is east of that. So you had to go west to come back east just to get there.
Yeah,
So wait,
and
you went from Kuwait or UAE, and then did that take you directly to Nepal?
yeah, then directly to Nepal from there.
That could not have been simple, right? Getting from San Francisco to the Middle East and then back to I think is that where in Asia is Nepal? Near
It's
India-ish?
yeah, it's like in between India and China. So, yeah, I get there and then I meet up with, the translator and the cameraman at this hotel, and then we drive 9 hours up the Himalayan mountains from there into these villages and meet up with the guys. It was absolutely beautiful in these mountains, but I mean, the stay was a little, it was a little out there. Like, it was like a squat toilet. There was like bugs in the room and like all this, but the scenery was insane. Like, it's never been so quiet before. It's like
But
so peaceful.
can you quickly speak on what is life like in Nepal?
So I would say it definitely ranges because, like, in Kathmandu, which is the capital of Nepal, I mean, there's definitely like there's a lot of stores. It's kind of like it looked like India, like videos I've
Okay.
seen of India. I mean, we
Okay.
were on like a rickshaw going around, stuff like that. But there's definitely people like there's nice areas. Like the hotel I stayed at was really nice. Food was like some of the best food like Indian food I've had like of all time. Honestly, I was
Okay.
eating like the same thing all the time. It was really good. But then the village comparison, like it was a lot of bugs, very beautiful scenery. Everyone's very kind, and yeah, I'm trying to think of how else to describe it because usually I just show like videos. It's like the best
Did
way
you
to
feel
just
you
really
feel
take it
safe
in.
the entire time there?
Yeah, totally. Like
That's good.
really, really kind people, and they were they brought us like some Mad Honey to try out beforehand,
Wow.
and there was like beers, and they made like some food, so it was good.
Nice.
And then
How did you even get in contact with the people who had the Mad Honey?
so that was arranged through I reached out to a lot of different people because everyone that you reach out to in Nepal that says they have Mad Honey, they're gonna say buy mine. And I was like, I need to get the actual people that harvest this stuff. So I got creative with it and I just did a lot of outreach, ended up getting lucky with some people that were, heavily involved in the process.
Black and Tan. Brickhouse Coffee has welcomed this pub-inspired blend into its family as a gift to the indecisive. A flawless and balanced fusion of our darkest black roast and the flavor-packed lightly roast El Corazon. This certified organic coffee crushes the stigma of the just average middle child. Not this guy, not this guy, but bold yet clean finishing. It is a delight that satisfies down to the final drop. Perfect for the whole family, regardless of rank and birth order, and crafted with the purity and care of certified organic beans. Brick House Coffee Co., the best. Now back to the episode.
So you drive 9 hours, you get there, and what's the process like from there?
From there, yeah, the next day we did like a 3-hour hike from the village to go find the honey. And we didn't bring any water, I realized.
Hmm.
I'm like, talking to my translator, I'm like, yo, do we have any water? And he's like, no, but we have Mountain Dew. Apparently Mountain Dew is really big there. We had 3 liters of Mountain Dew, no water for this hike. And I'm like, fuck do you mean? Like, and then they go, we're gonna drink out of the creek water. I'm like, bro, I can't do that. Like, no. So I'm drinking Mountain Dew and we get up to the hives and I thought we like brought the ladder. They start chopping down the trees and building a ladder like on site to go climb up like 100 meters to the honeycombs.
Wow.
And it was like insane. I'm like, how are you gonna, get on this thing? But they made a really good ladder and then they smoke out the bees. And as soon as they start smoking out the bees, they're so high up. And I'm wearing we have like little like beekeeping masks. And I'm thinking, they're telling us, hey, the bees are gonna start coming. We're like, my cameraman are like, the bees are gonna come? We would feel pretty safe because we're all the way on the ground. As soon as the smoke starts clearing them out, these bees are pissed off. They start stinging us, and these are the biggest
Really?
bees in the world. So
Oh.
it goes up to my cameraman first. He's like, Logan, help me. I just see these massive bees like going on him. I'm like, oh my God. And they're yelling at us to like put jackets on. We're just wearing like regular clothes.
Are you
So
in
they
the
like throw
air? Have you at this point? Are you up in the ladder? Or are you still ground level?
no, I'm just on the ground.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they start attacking both of us. We're throwing on like jackets, and these massive bees are like trying to like figure out a way to get under our jackets and like sting us. And as this is happening, the other guy, the one of the hunters, is like descending down the mountain and like hacking off the honeycombs to lower it down. And it was pretty insane to see in person, like, how they all do it, and, um, yeah, we get the honey and, not didn't get stung by too many bees, so it was alright, but, it was it was really cool to see, and,
No doubt.
yeah, we ate some Mad Honey right off the honeycomb, and it was pretty cool. Then we
That's
had,
so
like
cool.
we had some food, and I was questioning it because it was covered in, like, insects, but I was like, "I'm so hungry," like, I literally filmed myself saying this. I'm like, "You know what? There's only one way to find out if I'm gonna get food poisoning or not." And I start eating it, there's literally maggots crawling out of it, this food, like, after I took a bite of it,
Uh,
and I'm like, dude. So, yeah, I'm, like, on video. I ended up getting food poisoning from that,
Oy.
What was that like?
and, it was pretty gnarly. I was just like, like, not able to really big headache, throwing up a lot,
Uh,
and,
Thrown up,
pretty
lack of water too, correct? So you're not
oh,
well
no, so I
hydrated.
wasn't immediately thrown up from this. That it took, like, a
okay.
few days to hit, thankfully. It wasn't, like, in the village, but,
Were you back in the city?
yeah, it was back in the city, so I was kind of like the job was already pretty much done. I was just, like, recovering, but getting back from the, yeah, village, I remember we stopped by another village on the way there, and I'm like, "Is there any water, any water?" And they go in the store for me, and they come out with a bunch of bottles of Mountain Dew. I'm like,
That's the thing
"Is
out
there
there,
no
huh?
water?" Like,
That's their water.
yeah.
So what
But
was the process like after doing all of that gathering of the honey to then take that honey and get it for your drink? How was that process? And then did you get the honey to America or how'd that all work from there?
so that's where the next hard part came in, is we found
Yeah.
the best honey. How do we bring it back to the United States? And that's where it got pretty complicated with trying to get it back. I mean, the first time that we tried, well,
Bless you.
I drove back from the village to Kathmandu because they could ship it to Kathmandu fine. But I started talking to honey factories to see if they could then ship it to the United States. So I'm interviewing different people, and um, I find someone that I think can do it.
Bless
It
you.
ends up taking 3 months for the package to get to the US. I had to, like, drive to, like, warehouses because it said my package was there. They said they didn't have it. I pull up on their warehouse. I'm like, "Hey, I know my package is here. I need this fucking package. Like, you need to give me my honey now." And they're, like, just being super difficult. Eventually, I finally get it, and it didn't have any potency left.
Really? It
It
just
was
it
in a
just kind
wooden
of
crate.
evaporates.
It was in a wooden crate. It passed through the UAE, and it, like, microwaved the potency. So,
Right.
we had to figure out ways to, like, temperature control, and there, like, some other variables that all, like, degrade
Wow.
potency, and then also figure out a way that it wouldn't take 3 months. And that's what I've spent, like, the last year, honestly, just trying to get perfect. So, we got our first big batch of this honey in about 2 months ago, and we used that to make our first 10,000 cans, and then, yeah, like I said, that first 10,000 cans sold out in a little bit over a month. Did really well on that, faster than I was anticipating, so I had to speed the next production, which it only took, now we have it down where it took, like, 2.5 weeks to get a way bigger batch of honey in the US, so it's pretty dialed at this point where I can get really large quantities fast,
Beautiful.
and,
You know
um
you know what's funny, Logan? So people see you on Instagram and they see you've created this Amryth, the drink. You've created a beverage, right? But in a lot of ways, your business is global logistics, right? Dealing with
that's the
shipping
biggest part,
honey,
yeah.
right? That's like literally the biggest part. When you did your first shipment, what was the quantity or weight of the honey that you originally had transported to the United States?
It was 150 kilo or 160 kilos just because we wanted 10,000 cans, I wanted some extra, so
Mhm.
the weight of the, package, but yeah, it was 160 kilos of this honey, and then, yeah, we've moved up from there.
So talk to us about once you finally received a sufficient amount of honey that was potent enough. Once it arrives in the United States, you got it. It's here. Let's go. How does it get extracted into these cans and then available for consumption?
Yeah, so that's when we homogenize it, lab test it for potency, and then dose that in the drink, like how much to put in the drink. And then the other component, like you said, beyond logistics was the beverage company aspect. So I had a food scientist that helped me develop a recipe for the drink. We already had that ready. And I had a manufacturer that we brought, we had all the ingredients, we had the labels, and I'd been working on, yeah, like the labels for a while to get it right, to look the right way.
It's a clean look.
Uh,
Mhm.
Is that
I
16
appreciate it.
ounces?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like, yeah, 16-ounce drink. And the labels was also difficult because then we finally had the honey and then the labels weren't coming out right. They couldn't get the coloring to be like, this isn't even the exact color it's supposed to be. Just it's harder to print on like a label versus digitally
Mhm.
printing, but digitally printing you need like bigger can quantities, all this stuff. So
Well, that's a sticker, right? That's
um,
not printed onto the can, correct?
yeah, so we did stickers because it's lower minimum order quantity for
Mm.
sticker labels. So just a lot of other like little aspects that go into it,
Mhm.
like buying cans, buying like all the ingredients. Some people were sold out of the ingredients and trying to like a bunch of like little things that were more like annoying than honestly trying to like figure out where my package went or why the
Got it.
potency isn't there after waiting so long. So way easier problems to solve, just kind of obnoxious since I had the honey and was like, I really want to launch this drink. It's been like 2 years now. So
Yes. Well,
my
well,
friends
Logan,
think
as
I'm
an
lying about having this drink and stuff. Like let's get this out there.
for
And
sure. Well, as an entrepreneur, what were some things that when you were first getting started that you thought this was going to be like? Now that you're a couple years in, you're like, this is way different than what I originally had anticipated.
yeah, I mean, I would have thought I would have launched this like at least, 2 years ago. Like I didn't think it was gonna take this long. But I mean, as I built it, now I'm starting to see really strong results. And I'm like, it feels like it's all compounding. Because now I'm starting to see all the work that I put in behind the scenes for so long. I'm starting to see like the outputs of all those different things I've done where it's yeah, I'm getting like a lot faster results because of all the little things.
What's been the greatest lesson that you've learned in your 2 years of ups and downs?
That's tough. I'd say finding the highest leverage activities to do. So the greatest returns on the time that you put in, that's things like the example I gave with e-commerce over retail. It's like your potential outcome for doing something in person is very capped versus I could, yeah, give the product to all these creators, have them make content, and that has an infinite cap to it. It's really about, it's not a, I came from like the idea that I was gonna work in like private equity or banking, like
Yes.
100 hours a week is usually like kinds of hours people are putting in on those jobs. So I thought I'm gonna work 100 hours a week on this drink if I'm gonna do that instead. And I found that if you're doing the same thing over and over, it's very easy to work that hard and that long of hours. But when you're constantly shifting from different objectives and you have to like break through the inertia of like new problem all the time, you have to be much more clear-headed to approach that. So it was really about being like for me, instead of working super long hours, being like well rested and coming at these problems with the right attention
Yeah.
and creativity has been much more important than
Mhm.
this like grind set that a lot of people, go into it with. I mean, because it's really a marathon, not a sprint.
Mhm.
I like
Sure.
that grind set. I've never
Yeah.
heard that before. I like that.
But
Logan, what
yeah,
is your what is your favorite thing about what you're doing right now?
I kind of get to do whatever I want. I mean, I really like having the drink and
Mhm.
the fact that like, my content, for example, that's something that I was trying to offload to somebody else for the longest time until I finally threw in the towel and was like, all right, no one's gonna be able to make the content that I want. I'm gonna just
Mhm.
do it. And it's gonna take a while. It's like any skill you have to build up.
Mhm.
It's gonna be like a year before I get good at it, but I'm just gonna like I have to. I'm really glad I did that because now I feel better at making content. I could just make whatever I want with like how I want to position the drink and stuff like that. Um, I guess yeah, just the flexibility and creativity in it, and then
Yeah.
also just managing the systems I built up at this point.
I want to take one step back to your trip to the Himalayas. What's the difference between these Himalayan bees versus the bees we have here in America?
So these they're called Apis librosa. It sounds like a Harry Potter spell that
Yes, it does.
make this honey. They are the biggest bees in the world, and they're not domesticated. So they're wild bees, and they're very aggressive, as you can tell from like
Yeah.
stinging all of us. But
Yeah.
um, they're able to carry over like the nectar that other bees aren't as much. Some other bees are actually able to carry the nectar over, but the flower is the more important. It is the more important component. It's yeah, there's species of rhododendron, and there's a few others with this active ingredient, but it's like um it's really those at that altitude that leads to more potency. It's a lot of environmental factors as well. So
I
it's
would
just
imagine then
in
lo-
the US.
a lot of the bees then in the United States are domesticated then, correct?
Well, a lot of like bees in the US are domesticated, but I mean there are some that aren't, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been learning more and more bee science, but mainly the Nepal stuff, so I need to yeah. I don't wanna make
What
any claims I'm not
Yeah.
certain about in the US. I assume most are
Respect.
domesticated in the US, though.
Respect.
And Logan, where do you see Amryth being 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I would like to see this at every major retailer. Um, I would like to see it kind of like where the THC market is today. I mean, let's subtract like a few months though, because now it's getting, kind of cooked by that loophole in the government being shut, if you know about that. There was like a loophole that was allowing THC drinks to sell for a while, and Congress like closed it. So a lot of people
Interesting.
are having to like dial back. But a few months
Yes.
ago, I would like to see Mad Honey to be in the same position that that once was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Very cool.
it's a
Badass.
great alcohol alternative for people who, want to try something
I think
new.
the raw honey is difficult because of the potency and dosing.
Mhm.
When you're eating the raw honey, you don't know how much you're doing, and you can have a bad experience with it because you're doing too much. And it's also very gimmicky. It's like, how often are you going to be at a party just eating honey? I mean, you could do like those honey sticks. I see people doing that,
Yeah.
which you could have standardization and dosing across those. But I feel like it fits the best into social environments as a beverage with
Great.
So
nice
in that
branding.
beverage, what is the dosage of the Mad Honey in that can you're drinking right now?
15 grams of Mad Honey in it.
15 grams. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I look forward to trying that.
Yeah.
And then any upcoming trips for you and your team to Nepal?
Yeah, I'm actually planning to go out in a few months from now, and
Okay.
Beautiful.
I'm pretty
Get
excited
all your
for it.
logistics in order.
Yeah.
That's exciting stuff. Well, Logan, I've enjoyed learning about Amryth. I look forward to trying it as well. It's definitely our kind of drink. We're aligned with what you're creating. And it's exciting. You're very early on and you're making cool progress. So keep up the hard work. Real exciting. For those listening, want to keep up with you, Amryth, and all else, what's the best way for them to do that?
You can check out my Instagram at logan.amryth or the drink Instagram, which is just drink Amryth at Instagram. Um, that's yeah, probably the best way. So yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Listen, guys, appreciate the love. Thanks for listening. Episode 187, Logan Milano of Amryth. Check it out, and we will see you next Monday. All the best, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Peace.